instantiation in your nervous system. You have a counter at the bottom of your brain that keeps track of where you are in terms of your status. And it bloody well regulates the sensitivity of your emotions. So if you're at the bottom of the hierarchy, barely clinging on to the world, everything overwhelms you. And that's because you're damn near dead. And so everything should overwhelm you. You've got no extra resources. Any more threat, you're sunk. So you become extremely sensitive to negative emotion and maybe also impulsive, so that you grab while the grabbing's good. And if you're nearer the top in the dominance hierarchy and your counter tells you that, then your serotonin levels go up, you're less sensitive to negative emotion, you're less impulsive, you live longer, like everything works in your favor. Your immune system functions better, and you're oriented at least to some degree towards the medium and long-term future. And you can afford that because all hell isn't breaking loose around you all the time. And so then the question is there a way of being that increases the probability that you're going to move up dominance hierarchies? Well, that doesn't seem to be a particularly provocative proposition, unless you think that it's completely arbitrary and random, and that...
But I have always had the deep understanding for myself that if anything was going to move forward in my life, that I was going to have to be responsible for making that happen. And I know that to be true now and can articulate it as you are responsible for your life. And if you're sitting around waiting on somebody to save you, to fix you, to even help you, you are wasting your time, because only you have the power to take responsibility to move your life forward. And the sooner you get that, the sooner your life gets into gear.
A microaggression is any act, no matter how subtle, that makes the recipient uncomfortable regardless of the intent of the perpetrator.
Good grief.
Right.
Good grief.
Yeah, because we're getting away from intent, eh?
Yeah.
It's all consequence.
It's all how it's received.
Yes. And that's being written into the law very rapidly, by the way. So we're moving from a legal system where intent matters to a legal system where consequences matter, which is really the eradication of the legal system. But it doesn't matter, because the postmodern radicals who increasingly occupy the law schools believe that Western law is a patriarchal and oppressive tradition, and that undermining it and destroying it by doing things like removing due process and insisting on preponderance of evidence and going for consequence rather than intent, that's fine, because all they're doing is tearing down a terrible tyrannical patriarchal structure. Having never had the fortune to spend any time in an Iranian prison, for example, they're not very good at distinguishing between what constitutes a tyranny and what constitutes a free society.
When I was growing up in that single-parent household with welfare and all that other stuff, were there other people going through the exact same situations? Okay? And did it help me to use that to not succeed? Let me tell you a way that I live my life that I think a lot of us need to adopt in here. The world becomes a lot easier when you come to the conclusion that everything is my fault. I am dead serious. When you come to the conclusion that everything is my fault, the world becomes a lot easier. Because as long as you're playing victim and you're going, well, the economy, well, my spouse doesn't support me, well, that client did this, well, I have no control to fix that. But when it's my fault, what now? You following?
Yeah. And here's what I want to say. What you're seeing happening today, obviously we have some black people that are just shouting in the back. We have some black people that are sitting in the front quietly, that are chanting USA and having a normal conversation. I love that, because what I say every single time, and you may have seen me on the news, is that what is happening right now in the black community, you're going to hear it in this room first. There is an ideological civil war happening. Black people that are focused on their past and shouting about slavery, and black people that are focused on their futures, okay? That's really what it comes down to, okay? I can guarantee you what you're seeing happening is victim mentality versus victor mentality. And
That's
I promise
great, by
you,
the way.
the people here are going to win.
I love that.
And there's no doubt in my mind. I can tell you right now who is going to be better off when we look 20 years and we look at the faces in this room. Who is going to be better off are the girls that are sitting right here and across this room, because they don't have your mentality.
Well, when you tell me you get a scenario that's not all that great, what does that even mean?
Food's not great. Non-ideal sleeping conditions. Maybe the shower trailers broke down. And all that starts adding up. I'm just spitballing.
It's like a switch that I can reach back to at any point and say that the worst possible day that you have on this base isn't 15 minutes of the pain that the guys felt at Reservoir. You know, at Normandy, at Gettysburg. So we go through stuff. You know what? Whenever I face anything that's challenging, whenever anything sucks, I like it. I like it. It's gonna make me tougher. It's gonna give me a good story to tell. It's gonna toughen my mind. It's gonna bring us together as a you know what military training is? You know what military training is? You know how they form a bond in military groups? They make you do stuff that sucks. That's what they do. What's boot camp? It's a suck fest. And we overcame that situation. And we were able to achieve victory there. So, when something sucks, good. Good. It's going to make me tougher, and it's going to make us stronger. So bring it. Cold showers only.